Hello dear friends. Sometimes it is important to hit rock bottom in order to realize that there are important things in life that we do not value, because it is by hitting rock bottom, even if it is bitterness, that one comes to know who one is and where one then begins to step on solid ground. As the Spanish economist José Luis San Pedro said, who advocated a more humankind and solidarity economy capable of contributing to the development of the dignity of peoples. The phoenix is a symbol of transformation stolen by bad guys. Opinion piece. Are we hitting the rock bottom? Hitting rock bottom to rise again. It's not as bad as they say. All that's left is to go up after going down. The sheep are waking up. Economic signs of change. The narrative is evolving. Germany sees the light at the end of the tunnel. Heavy rains in northeast Brazil. Hurricane emergency in Mexico. The stock market is a playground for the wealthy. Many plans are being put in action. Oil hits 2-month high. Gasoline and diesel prices soar. 7 weeks losing straight ends. Dollar falls again as stocks rally. Biggest interest rate hike in 2 decades. This easing could be the work of the white hats. Fulford says Jeff Bezos has switched sides. Talents crash when it comes to making predictions. No Dragon family gold until the bad guy comes out. The price of gold have risen 6-fold since 2000 year. The American wave of change will spread around the world. Putin's answer to the Davos Forum was the Eurasian Forum. Bitcoin shows signs of bottoming after 9 weeks of losses. Let's start. Economics is a social science that studies how to manage available resources to meet humankind's needs, but it is not an entirely exact science, even if it claims to be. Talents crash when it comes to making predictions, and sometimes the greatest experts are the ones who fail the most. This relief I speak of could be the work of the white hats to prevent the crisis from escalating. Although US financial markets were closed on Monday for Memorial Day, there has been some very important thinking on the part of some pundits. There are more signs that a major shift in the economic narrative could be underway, according to Sambro. News of a slowdown is not exactly the sort of thing that warrants a celebratory tone, but it is the sort of thing that should help to reduce inflation. Are we hitting the bottom of the crisis? The phrase, "we are hitting rock bottom," comes from the poet Gabriel Celaya, but Paco Ibáñez put it to music and popularized it years later, because poetry is a weapon loaded with the future. Hitting rock bottom refers to reaching the lowest point emotionally, physically, morally, and spiritually. It is a moment when we are defeated in every way. That moment of bottoming out is a good moment in spite of everything, because from there we can only go up. A double bottom pattern is a technical analysis chart pattern that describes a change in trend and a reversal of the momentum of the previous leading price action. It describes the fall of a stock or index, a rebound, another fall to the same or similar level as the original fall, and finally another rebound. The double bottom resembles the letter W. The low touched twice is considered a support level. A slowdown. Growth has slowed since peaking in March, especially in the services sector. It appears that households have been eating into the excess savings that accumulated in earlier stages of the crisis to boost consumer spending in recent months, wrote Daniel Silver, an economist at JP Morgan. The Fed is actively working to cool economic growth in its effort to reduce inflation, but economic activity is buckling rather than breaking under the impact of higher rates, said Michael Price. For months, we have been living in an economy where strong demand has been met with a lagging supply, leading to rising inflation. Now, we seem to be moving into a phase where demand growth is cooling and supply chains are loosening, which should bring inflation down. Consumer spending growth is cooling as excess savings are tapped, but core capital spending growth represents an economic tailwind, and the fact that it continues to grow, albeit at a slower pace, it is a good sign for economy-wide growth. Job growth has been very strong in the US, and record job openings have allowed workers to earn higher wages, so that there are almost 2 jobs opening per unemployed person. A rear view mirrored news. First, a 7-week losing streak in the stock market comes to an end. Second, corporate pundits are buying back shares in their companies. Third, mortgage rates are still high but falling. Fourth, new home sales are falling. 5. Consumer confidence sentiment falls. News from the reset. First, according to Simon Parkes, the QFS would go very well because the banks of the planet would no longer be controlled by the clique. Their system would be encrypted and the banks are locked into the process. The white hats would now be in charge. Second, Fulford claims that Jeff Bezos has switched sides. Third, Biden's approval rating is 20%. Fourth, according to Michael Cottrell, there is no Dragon family gold until the bad guy comes out. Wave of change. First, a lot of plans are being set in motion. Second, it's all leading to Red October because the sheep are waking up. Third, the Great Awakening is ringing in the ears of many leaders around the world. Fourth, the American wave of change will spread to Europe and all over the world. 5. The world will be shocked when 90% of the Catholic establishment breaks away from the Vatican. Revelations. First, all systems are in place. The good guys are ready and the people are going to see the real agenda. The best is yet to come. Second, if you want to do something very good in life, rescue a dog, cat or any homeless living being. The reaction of shelter dogs to being adopted is one of profound gratitude. Second, physicist Richard Alan Miller is warning people that the Carrington-like solar flash event will occur in late March or April 2024. Fourth, why are they telling us what they are doing to do? Michael Hoffman suggests that the elite are keeping notice of their supremacy by telling people that they have no resource, that events are out of their control, and that it is fate. This is intended to create a sense of demoralizing apathy to the point of admitting defeat of a system we cannot change. Economics. First, stocks cut their gains on concerns about inflation. Second, JP Morgan says market bottom is near. Third, the dollar falls again as the stock market recovers. Fourth, gold price holds near $1,850 an ounce. 5. multiplied by more than 6. In January 2000, gold was at $290, and today the price is $1,855, a 6.4-fold increase in the last 22 years. 6. The handling of the indictment on Trump and Alpha Bank is unusual. 7. Bill Gates' divorce cost him more than $38 billion. Banks. First, central banks launched the most widespread rate hike in more than 2 decades. Second, according to the Nomad Economist, the stock market is a playground for the rich. Third, according to the Atlantis report, the stock market is overvalued. It is riding on an historical tidal wave of debt and printed money. Fourth, the Bank of Canada is facing a political storm over inflation. Cryptocurrencies. First, Bitcoin shows signs of bottoming after 9 weeks of losses. Second, the Bitcoin starts any week above $31,000. Third, 27% of US adults trade cryptocurrencies. Fourth, the search engine DuckDuckGo signed a secret tracking agreement with Microsoft. Supply crisis. First, gasoline prices hit a record high. Second, oil tops $121 a barrel as gasoline and diesel prices soar. Third, oil hits 2-month high as China lifts restrictions. Fourth, a sharp drop in Russian exports could push oil above $150 a barrel. 5. Households around the world wrecked by high gas prices. 6. Food prices will rise this autumn. 7. Lumber prices fall as interest rates rise. Repercussions. First, paying the debt for feeding the people is the impossible choice of starving nations. Second, the shortage of microchips is more than you can imagine. It affects car companies, phone companies, computers, smart TVs, smart appliances, and government weapons systems, whose production is grinding to a halt. Third, cargo ships around the world are grinding to a halt. Millions of companies are cancelling orders due to ship shortages, meaning they cannot finish production and must cancel upcoming projects. Fourth, because of the restrictions, workers, drivers, delivery staff are being lost, cargo ships are jammed, and warehouses are full. Europe. First, inflation is accelerating in the Eurozone. Second, inflation continues to rise in Germany, reaching a 60-year high. Third, Europe agrees partial embargo on Russian oil and other measures. Fourth, European Union seeks to close ranks for partial ban on Russian oil. 5. Denmark and the Netherlands will cut off by Russia over gas payment dispute. 6. Stocks rise and Eurozone bonds fall. 7. Erdogan insists on his veto on NATO membership for Sweden and Finland. 8. Germany will see the light at the end of the energy crisis tunnel in summer 2023. 9. Europe wants to prove that municipal waste has value. 10th. The river Sajo is constantly accumulating pollutants that are destroying life along its course in Slovakia. 11. The ship Ocean Viking with 295 migrants asks for an Italian port after 10 days of waiting. 12. Sterling risks a crisis only seen in emerging markets. 13. Johnson is considering bringing back imperial units of measurement, such as the pound, ounce, pint, yard, or mile. Spain. First, 7 communities are on alert for rainstorms, heat, or tidal waves. Second, Níjar and Vícar, the poorest municipalities in Spain. Third, those we call leaders are in reality people who command by obey orders. In quotes, writes Spain writer Benjamin Prado. Americas. First, Hurricane Agatha makes landfall in southern Mexico with strong winds. Second, Mexico's fuel subsidy costs more than oil exports earnings. Third, disillusionment and uncertainty among the migrants in Ciudad Juárez, Mexico. Fourth, cargo ship will connect Uruguay and Argentina and will carry 20,000 trucks a year. 5. Peru gives 180 tons of manure for farmers in the face of rising fertilizer prices. 6. Ecuador's president calls for a broad citizen unity to tackle crime. 7. Singer-songwriter Rubén Blades hopes that a U.S. ruling will advance corruption cases in Panama. 8. Commemorate 40 years since the disappearance of 150 Salvadoran children in the Civil War. 9. The Cuban regime frees political prisoner Andy Garcia, arrested during the 11J demonstrations. 10. Venezuela studies popular mechanisms to overcome the economic blockade. 11. Cinema transforms the San Agustin neighborhood in Caracas, Venezuela's capital. 12. Rains leave 30 dead in the Brazilian state of Pernambuco. 13. At least 84 dead and 56 missing in the northwest of Brazil due to rainstorm. Asia. First, Taiwan denounces that 30 Chinese military aircraft have entered its zone. Second, huge uranium deposits are discovered in China at depths thought impossible. Third, extreme measures cause more Chinese to resign from the CCP. Fourth, a doctor who survived the Cambodia genocide warns of communism. 5. Clashes are part of the battle between God-given rights and collectivism, writes writer. 6. The WHO treaty is linked to a global system of passports and digital IDs. 7. Contact is lost with a plane with 22 people on board in Nepal. Russia. First, the Russian ruble rises and offsets last week's losses. Second, Putin promises Serbia to receive uninterrupted Russian gas. Third, the flow of Russian oil transported by sea is increasing. 4. Russia expects $14 billion in additional energy revenues this year. 5. Russian patriarch says attempt to split Russian and Ukrainian churches will fail. 6. Russia prepares new bond payment to plan to avoid default. 7. Russia could use foreign debt repayment systems similar to the one used for gas supplies. 8. Russia envisages the gas for ruble model for Eurobond payments. 9. Putin's answer to the Davos Forum was the Eurasian Forum. Rumors of war. First, Russia launches the largest series of attacks in the Donbass since the beginning of the war. Second, Russian troops advance towards Severodonetsk in the Donbass. Third, the US rolls out sending new long-range missile systems to Kiev. Fourth, Ukraine loses 1,500 soldiers a day to death, injury, capture, or desertion, according to Hall Turner. Science. First, human tissues are successfully grown on moving robotic skeletons. Second, NASA sets up the James Webb Telescope to study two super-Earths where oceans boil and clouds rain lava. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.